Hi, welcome to Funshine Place. Today we're going to be making a miniature bakery bag for any fashion dolls. I decided to put a logo on this bag. As you can see, it says FB for Funshine Bakery, but you can also use the B for something like a boutique or whatever else I can come up with. So you can use this for multiple things. And they're super duper nice to have. They're super duper sturdy if you make them out of cardstock too. I was able to fit an eraser food in it and put a few of them in there, and it didn't even weigh down the bottom. It was really nice. Let's get started on this craft. For this craft you will need cardstock. In order for the cardstock to fit in a printer, it'll have to be 8.5 inches by 11 inches to fit in the printer, otherwise it won't print. If you don't have this size, you can always just measure it down to it. Obviously, you will need a bag template to make your bag. A small circular object. This is a compass. It's used in math to draw perfect circles, but if you don't have one, you can use like a bottle cap or maybe like let me think, like a cap to anything, something that's a small circle, or even a stencil might work. I'm going to be using the Prismacolor fine line markers, but if you don't have those, then you can just use the Crayola markers. You will need something to use as your handle. This is some gift bag or party bag or paper bag handle, whatever you have. I ripped it off and I just cut it to 3 inches and 9/16 of an inch. So now you can have miniature paper handles. If you don't want to use this, then you could use a pipe cleaner. You could use, I'm pretty sure a hair tie would work pretty nice too. They're nice and stretchy if you cut up a hair tie. But I wanted to have it look like a paper bag. Or Draw So Cute does include these little holes. I don't know if you can see it, but they're these little hole punch outlines that you can use a hole puncher, punch a hole, and feed through some ribbon or something. Whatever you want. You will also need a hard piece of plastic. This is a polymer clay knife that I have, and I used as just a hard surface. You just press it down and it leaves a really nice crease. If you don't have a polymer clay knife, then you could also use something like a protractor, which I have right next to me. It's used in math to draw angles, but if you don't even have a protractor, you could just use a Play-Doh knife or something, just a hard piece of plastic. Maybe some sort of like scraper, if you have like for a cutting board, that would work too. If you're going to be using the party bag handle, then you will also need some tape to tape together the handle. If you're not going to use it, you won't need any tape. If you watched my bakery box video, then you'll know not to cut the tabs because that's what you'll need to glue it together. I'm going to cut the bag template. I'm going to speed this process up. I've cut out my bag template, but we're just going to put that to the side. And so, as you can see, I have these two huge scrap pieces of paper that I probably could be throwing out. But see the printed side? If you just flip it over and glue it onto something, you can still use this paper. Because paper is pretty expensive, I got this one big pack of cardstock and it was $20. And that was on sale. So I try to save my paper, that way it can save me money and I can have more money to buy other things to do crafts with. So I've cut out my bag template and now I'm going to fold it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hard piece of plastic and I'm going to put the dotted line side down, and I'm going to just fold it back but not push it down, and use my hard piece of plastic to push it down. So once you've done that, that's how it should look. You could do the other side. I usually do one side completely, and then I just flip it over and then do what I did to the other side. I just folded the first crease as you just saw, but I wanted to tell you that if you're going to be gluing on a logo or adding a logo, however you're going to put it on, don't glue up your bag template and then glue on the logo. Just fold up your template and then glue on your logo. I'm going to speed the process up of me folding up the bag template. So I just finished up folding my bag template, and now I'm going to start making the logo. The logo is going to be circle shaped, but you can use stickers or you can make other shaped logos. It just doesn't matter. Just do whatever makes you happy and be creative. So I'm going to take my hard piece of plastic and put it to the side because I won't be needing that anymore. And then I'm going to take the paper that I chose to use, and I'm going to take my template. I had messed up on the middle on one of my bags that I had made, so I decided to just flip it over and make a template so I can make as many as I wanted. Just going to trace that, and then I'm going to cut it out, well, in the next step. If you don't have a template that you made, you could also use like a stencil, a paper punch, like anything that's like a circular object you could use. I find that would help you. And then I'm gonna put my compass down. I'm gonna put the silver part down and make sure the pencil part is not touching. I'm going to set my compass to 7/8 of an inch, and then I'm just going to turn. Just like this. Just like you have to put an even amount of pressure and turn. It's gonna take a lot of practice, but lucky for me, I use it almost every day in math. I have to just draw special circles to the sizes that they want me to draw, so I've had plenty of practice doing that. So you just have to practice with it if you have one. I'm going to just cut these pieces out. You can't save the scraps. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut it. Like I said, you cannot save. I don't think there's any more of this that you could possibly save unless you're going to make something extremely tiny. And just going to cut it out. I like to open my scissors up as wide as I can and go from the very end where it starts, like where you're holding it, and then just tilt the paper and tilt the scissors to make a perfect circle cut. If you had a paper punch, you would not have to worry about cutting these out. This is kind of time consuming if you're making a lot of them. Or I've seen some people who make little Barbie cakes, and some people will actually cut out each individual circle. So I thought, out of paper, I thought that would be a lot of work. So I decided to make it very simple. You could do multiple layers of paper if you want, like a more 3D. You could use paperboard. You could use whatever you want. Just customize your logo to fit what you want. I'm just cutting this out. Then I'm going to obviously throw out more of this paper because I'm not going to be needing any of this paper. And now that I've cut out my two circles, I'm going to glue them up. I'm going to start gluing up my logo, but before I start gluing it, I want to say do not glue your logo and then decorate. That is a very big mistake, because if you do that and you mess up on your paper, then you're going to have to cut out a new back sheet and a new front sheet. So I'm going to start writing my letters. I'm going to write an F, just a basic print F. And then I'm going to write a basic B, just print, super, super simple. And then I'm gonna just make a little like box around it. And once I've done that, I'm gonna do that to the letter F. And then you're pretty much done with it. You're gonna add some stripes on the inside. And what I wanted to say was that I've also done a video on how to hand letter this font in every letter of the alphabet. That way it's super duper easy for you to follow along on how to do it. But I also wanted to say that I'm not a professional hand letterer. Like, this is something that I just started doing, and it does require a lot of practice. Like, these are not perfect compared to what other people can do, but I tried my best to get what I'm going for. It'll take a lot of practice to do it because you have to keep your letters straight. So I hope the video that I did was easy enough to follow through with, so you can get these hand lettering fonts too. And now I'm going to just glue it like this. I've noticed with this Elmer's dry fast glue, like it's that quick dry stuff, I've noticed it dries so fast that I don't even have time to line it up. It actually dries while it's in the air and I'm lining it up. I'm definitely having a hard time with that. Like, it took me at least 5 minutes to glue up my bag because of this quick dry. Like, it dries before you can even press it together. So I'm just going to trim this up. I noticed it was a little uneven because I did not use something like a paper punch or a paper cutter. I just used scissors, so it might be a little uneven, but I'm fine with that. So I'm just going to trim it up and make it look as even as I can. And now I'm going to glue it. So make sure when you're gluing it that the side with the dotted lines is facing down, because if you do that, then you're going to have to look at dotted lines on the outside. I'm just going to glue it right there on that side. So that's all you have to do to glue your logo on. I'm just going to put some glue on the back of my logo and then glue it on top. If you don't want to use stick glue, another good thing that you could use that might be actually removable depending on how hard you press is glue dots. You could use like the same color bag and do a bunch of different logos and use some glue dots, and they might be quick and easy to remove. I haven't tried that, but that actually might be something to try out. And you could also use like tape if you like squeeze it and then like fold it in on itself and stick it to itself. Tape is another good one. I wouldn't advise using white glue because that's very messy. And I think that's about all the things that you could use to adhere it to the bag. I don't think hot glue would work very well. I prefer stick glue because it's something easy that I can have access to. Super easy to find, and you can use it pretty much anywhere. You can like find it anywhere at the store. So I'm gonna glue together the template. Now this is a bit of the difficult part, trying to get it glued together, because like I said, this glue for some reason just dries so quickly that it's actually drying while I'm trying to stick it on. And then when I stick it on, there's not enough glue. So you have to be careful to make sure one side at a time has been adhered and stuck together. Otherwise, it's going to just keep falling apart. I also, when I was gluing this, ran into the problem of one of my sisters came and decided to put something in the bag while it was wet. Do not put anything in the bag while the glue is not dry. Otherwise, your glue or your bag, the bottom's going to come out and everything's going to fall apart, and then it's going to take longer to dry. So do not do that. You're just going to like pinch it together. You can stick your fingers in the bag with your like 3 of your fingers. You can stick into the bag and then press against the surface. But it'll dry over time, and then just give it like 30 minutes and it should dry super nicely. And then you're done gluing it. So now I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to tape on my handles. This is actually the trickiest part of the entire bag. I found it was the trickiest part because the bag handle is very curvy, and it's curvy on a big bag, but when you're trying to make it a little bag and curve it so much, it keeps flattening itself out and making itself straight. So you have to put the tape onto the edges first. I found this was the easiest way because trying to get it in there, your fingers moved and then it would spring back out of it, so it was pretty hard. So I'm just gonna like tape that side down, and then when you're curving it, make sure you're not curving it too much or sticking it too far down, because then it's gonna look all weird. I did it a few times. And you're done with your bag now. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was super duper easy to follow along and fun.